This is Michael Kowalski, writer and performer of Mothman, True Story, and you are listening to the Unbelievers Podcast. I know you wouldn't like it.
There were several groups. One of the principal ones was the reptilians from the Orion complex.
Without any exaggeration, it was like being on fire inside.
Rats were eating you up inside.
This stuff was in my mouth. It felt like it was 500 degrees. It was unbelievably hot.
My first question would be, were you a member of the Church of Satan, a card-carrying member of the Church of Satan? I don't understand.
There's always an argument for everything. You know, just because somebody can fake something doesn't necessarily mean it's real.
And we found a life form. And that's when I started shitting my pants.
So for the person who called, I am carrying an alien.
An alien baby. We covered right here, okay?
Okay.
Something is happening. What is it? That's the question. So do UFOs exist? It depends on what you mean exist.
1972, a small town in Missouri experiences a flap of UFO activity followed by eyewitness sightings of an 8-foot-tall, hairy, scary humanoid monster. Also, 2018, from the depths of the dark web, a terrifying creature emerges on WhatsApp with the intent of getting young children to harm and even kill themselves. Tonight, we discuss a peculiar entry into the Small Town Monsters film series, a bold attempt at telling the tale of a semi-legendary cryptid through a late-night cryptid monster show. Also tonight, stick around as we discuss the creepiest viral internet hoax ever perpetrated by a vile Japanese statue with chicken legs. So, join us now for this double header of the hideous, this gruesome twosome, as we discuss the multiple maniacs with the same moniker. It's Momo. Right here on the program, we continue to learn to unlearn everything you know. Hello and welcome to the Unbelievers Podcast. I'm your host, Rus Ryan, and joining me tonight is my co-host in California, Drea Mora. Hello, Drea.
Hello.
And in North Carolina, my co-host, Jude Prestia. Hello, Jude.
Hello, hello.
And returning on Long Island, our soundboard engineer and producer, Rob Okey.
You know, they like to be kind of like a secret.
What's up, guys?
All right. Hello, Rob. Jude, great to have you back, Drea. Yeah, so here we are. Everybody's still on lockdown. Yeah. You guys been watching a lot of TV lately?
Yeah, too much TV. Is there ever really such thing as too much TV?
Yeah. At this point now, I think we're almost at the point where it's too much TV. I've been watching Project Blue Book, though.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I watched that the Skinwalker Ranch one, too.
Oh.
Yeah, that's something we're going to need to get into, too. But since everyone's got so much time on their hands, I can give people assignments, and that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. So let's just get into it now as we talk about Momo. Momo, yes. a great Momo song. Which Momo they're talking about? Let's find out, because tonight we're going to be discussing two paranormal monsters who happen to share the same name, and that name is Momo. And besides sharing the same name, these two creatures have almost nothing in common at all, at least physically. I'll introduce these Momos in a second, but first I want to ask you guys, when you hear the name Momo, what's the first thing you think of, Drea?
At first I just think of something it sounds really cute, but then I actually think of that really creepy like monster,
the creep doll
with the creepy eyes.
That piece of artwork.
Rob, you too. What about you, Jude?
Masterpiece.
So my parents have a pug with one eyeball and he's deaf, and now he wears a diaper. And his name is Gizmo, and they call him Momo.
Oh,
a lot. So when I was like, we're gonna do Momo. I was like, Wait, what?
Well, it does sound like a monster, to be honest. I mean, no offense,
Yeah.
but I mean, one eye and wearing a diaper.
He sounds cool, but
he's also corpophagic, so he just walks around the backyard eating other animals' shit.
Oh, that's not far off from these. Then never mind.
That's just
This is the
Momo.
same thing.
That's just Momo
We should
being
actually do an
Momo.
episode on that. Then let's get Gizmo Momo.
But no, let's get into this one because, yes, as most of us are in agreement, you think of the Japanese creep doll. That is the
Yes.
more famous Momo of these two. He's got a big internet following, got a lot of press, but there is also another Momo. This thing is a giant bipedal monster that stalks the hill of Missouri. It's called the Missouri Monster. Mo, get it?
Yeah.
It's pretty
I actually
lame for a
didn't get
name.
that before.
Yeah,
It did
MO
take me a few
Missouri,
minutes
MO
into
Monster. Yeah,
looking into
there
it,
we
yeah.
go. And we will begin with this particular Momo because this thing needs a little more attention, I think. Have you guys ever heard of the Missouri Monster Momo before I asked you all to watch this?
Yeah, no, I'd seen it around a little bit, and that's why when we were first just talking about it, like a couple years ago or something, I remember talking about it briefly.
Well, yeah, and this thing is kind of new to me. Well, I got to say, when I saw it, I thought I knew about it. I watched it. I guess I didn't. And so you can imagine my excitement, yes, when I saw that there's this documentary on this creature from one of the best production companies out there making these cryptid documentaries. It's Small Town Monsters. I love Small Town Monsters. They make so much good stuff. They did a Beast of Bray Road. They did a Flatwoods Monster, Mothman, Bogey Creek Monster. They have produced a lot of high quality paranormal docs. And then they made Momo, the Missouri Monster. So here's the description of the film Momo, the Missouri Monster. It says, in 1972, Louisiana, Missouri played host to a massive UFO outbreak. At the same time, a local family was plagued by a series of sightings of a creature the media dubbed Momo. Years later, their story was turned into a drive-in horror movie, but was never released until now. In the latest film from Small Town Monsters, see the horror brought to life on screen and learn the true story that inspired it. Would you say that's an accurate description?
No.
No,
of course not. It's not even close.
Even that's a hoax, to be honest.
Right, because I'm sorry, what year
Yeah.
did he claim that the original drive-in movie was supposed to have been made?
We're going to get to that. Let's just get into this because this isn't your average monster documentary. There is an entire lost movie inside of that. They said, we're finding a movie. That's what the description said. So let's hear it now. This is the intro to Momo, Missouri Monster, featuring host Lyle Blackburn.
Welcome, monster fans, to another episode of spooky yet true cryptid encounter tales. In recent weeks, you've met the Minerva Monster, the Bray Road Beast, and even that mean old son of a gun, the Boggy Creek Monster. But this week, I'm going to introduce you to the weirdest creature that's ever walked out of the forest. He's big, he's hairy, he's scary, and his name is Momo.
Yeah,
All
spooky
right.
yet true cryptid encounter tale. What did he say about the last few weeks? What's going on? Have we not been catching up with homework? What the hell is he talking about?
Yeah, I didn't get that at all. They keep implying that this is a series that we should be following. I don't know what's going on here.
Well, I mean, he's got such a deep following. Like, we should know everything that he's doing. Like, we're so stupid for not knowing.
Right.
He's like, you loved it last time, and we're back with more. I'm like, did
sure
we?
are.
Thank you for making us number one. But I get it. This is not a Hell's Bell seminar. This is a mock cryptid hunting TV show. I mean, they have graphics that say the name. It's supposed to be Blackburn's Cryptid Files, but he called it Spooky yet True Cryptid Encounter Tales. I don't know. But both of them really roll off the tongue. You know, it's not great names. at
They're
all.
pretty much
both of them.
It's obviously not real. And I don't know why. Place on board one, I thought this might come into play. I just like when he says this.
He's hairy, he's scary.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think I got aggravated towards the end. He said,
like a wrestler.
he never says one without the other in this. Yeah, Harry Scary the wrestler. Yeah,
It does sound like someone's announcing a wrestler or announcing like a stripper coming out. Like,
Oh, God.
she's 6'2".
Oh boy. Yeah, place
She's
number one
hairy.
again.
She's
Here she
scary.
comes.
He's hairy, he's scary.
Boy. And that inflection that he has, he's just so charismatic. Anyway, whatever. It's Small Town Monsters. This has got to be automatically great, though, right? So let's hear some more from Lyle Blackburn.
Is that it? Is that the creature? It's time to find out.
As we do each week on Blackburn's Cryptid Case Files, I'm going to introduce you to a schlocky film inspired by the creepy critter I'll be investigating this episode.
Okay, that's the swerve. That this is a cryptid investigation show where they are able to show an entire movie about the cryptid in question. And I don't know what is this a real show? I don't know. What is this?
See, I mean, I guess I missed that beginning part. Like when I was first watching this, you have to understand my mind's been melted by all of this crap that's been going on, and I'm a little crazy now. So I didn't really catch that he was trying to actually pass it off as an actual movie. Like, no way.
Is this a real show?
Right? Like I thought for sure that they were just being tongue in cheek about it. I was like, nah.
I literally was watching it for 15 minutes, at least 15 minutes, being like, why do they keep cutting away from the movie? I just thought this was like,
like a movie.
The movie, yeah.
I just want to watch the movie.
Well, as you're watching this, there comes a point where you realize I am now watching a movie. Lyle Blackburn has left. What's going on? I don't know. Let's hear. Play the next clip.
Let's set the stage for the film you're about to watch. In the early 1970s, a filmmaker by the name of Charles B. Pierce made an independent horror movie about a monster roaming the swamps of southern Arkansas. It was called The Legend of Boggy Creek, and it was made for very little money, but quickly became a hit on the drive-in movie circuit. Before you could say the word Bigfoot, all sorts of hairy, ape-like monster movies began clogging the cinemas. Most of them were made on a dime, and most of them were downright terrible. Suddenly, anyone with a camera and a crappy ape suit could make a movie, you see.
Oh, you don't say. Wow, Blackburn.
Sooner than you can say the word Bigfoot.
Play some more,
really
too.
fast.
We might need that later.
Suddenly, anyone with a camera and a crappy ape suit could make a movie, you see.
Okay, we might...
Yeah, I guess so.
For this whole
We're
thing.
about to find that out,
It's getting kind of meta already.
Yeah.
You cannot put enough meta on this. It's got so much. It's splitting at the seams with meta. But okay. So we're watching this. Let's accept this reality here. Here is Lyle Blackburn's not at all monotone introduction to this film.
So it was in 1975, a film crew set out to make a movie about another famous hairy monster. In fact, the hairiest monster ever seen outside the distant jungles of Africa. Momo, Missouri's own monster. The film crew shot and edited the film, but for some unknown reason, never released it.
He loves that hair. It's always the hairy. He's the hairiest thing you've ever seen.
What?
Love that hair.
I've never heard of the hairiest monster. I don't know if you could use that as being an attribute for him. The hairiest?
No, because he's not. Well, he's not even that well known. No.
He's hairy. He's scary.
And you hear the setup. Okay, so he has found Lyle Blackburn himself. Give it up. He found a lost full-length motion picture of a Momo, and his cryptid show is going to show this. I can't tell if he's an investigative show or is he supposed to be a late night horror host. I don't know what the hell this is supposed to be. Let's try to make some.
Can you describe what Lyle Blackburn looks like real quick, just for the listeners?
Sure. Drea, you take it.
Lemmy from Motorhead.
He's just like this, this super, but so much cooler and more suave, and his hat just makes him so sexy. He wears all black because his last name's Blackburn. But yeah, he kind of reminds me of Julian from Trailer Park Boys, but with a cowboy hat.
Yup.
I was going to say he's like a Wish.com Dave Grohl.
No, I've always said that he looks like he was like in a darker version of Poison or something. He wears that curled up cowboy hat and the boots. He's the dark cowboy. That's the look he's got going on. So let's try to make some sense of this.
Anyway.
It's so nice that he took a night off from roadieing for Aerosmith to come and do this documentary.
No, come on, let's be nice. We're gonna try to make some sense of this. Let's clear it up, Lyle Blackburn.
Boy, do I have a treat for you tonight. I've searched far and wide to track down the only known copy of the original film. That's right, we're going to show it right here tonight. And together, we're going to explore Missouri and get to the bottom of this real case that inspired this should-have-been B-movie cult classic. So like I always say, spin the reel.
Wow.
This guy's the Indiana Jones of spinning reels. His famous catchphrase, spin the reel.
Spin the reel.
And he's talking about, he's taking credit there. He found this movie, Momo. So if we have any problems with this, we can bring it right back to him. He had he didn't make the movie, but they didn't release it for a reason, I think.
It should have been a classic. You heard what he said. It should have been a classic. It's not a classic,
How
but
can
it
you
should
say
have
that?
been.
You can't say that about something no one's ever seen except you, dude.
Yeah, I know, because that's what makes it a classic, right? Is when everybody loves it and embraces it.
When everybody should have seen it. That's when it's a classic.
That's what
if everyone
means.
want to see it, yeah. I mean, believe me, I loved and grew up watching Bogey Creek, the Bogey Creek movie late night too, and I think Lyle did as well, and I think everyone involved in this is just super jazzed about doing something like that. So now that this film is introduced, and I will say, I was all in watching this, and especially with this opening music. And remember, this is a Missouri monster movie from 1975. Woo. Okay, the tone changed pretty quick there in that music. It seems very jaunty.
I was with you though, Russ. Like with that music starting up, like I love 70s films like this. I was stoked, and then I wasn't.
The intro, me too. Everything leading up to this point is awesome. If you feel like you're getting into something really cool.
Yeah.
Oh, we're about to fall off that cliff right now. So this movie starts with a spaceship crashing in the town of Louisiana, Missouri. It is very ominous, and the effects are incredible. There's electricity just crackling as the doors open of this ship. It looks better than Star Wars, and this is like 2 years before it.
Whoa.
So this is the immediate giveaway that this is not some found movie. It's just made for this. I don't know. I'm going to stop saying documentary because I don't know what the hell to call this thing. A parody TV show cutting into a parody movie?
It was pissing me off so much.
Because it is half documentary. You know, he goes around talking to people, but then it splices into the so-called found film, which, again, I'm just now realizing that he actually was trying to pass it off as a real movie, because I thought it was tongue-in-cheek the whole time.
Oh. I
thought it was a real movie.
Oh man, you got your real movie in my parody.
Filter.
Yeah, no kidding.
It got me.
You can kind of tell there's some. It looks like it's filmed with like a new camera, but then they definitely threw like After Effects on it.
They put those filters.
Yeah, they put some filters on there.
Oh, there are so many
giveaways.
Effects. Yeah.
Immediately, that ship, those effects, that is better than anything out of Star Wars, those opening effects. That's just, they did not have that technology, especially for some crappy B movie.
Yeah.
And normally I'd be really excited to pull clips for a 1970s low budget cryptid movie. No, not this time. Here's the first dialogue of the film from two women driving in a VW Bug.
I can't believe you're dragging me 8 hours to see Alice Cooper. Disgusting. Couldn't we have waited and seen the Carpenters instead?
This is exactly what I'm talking about. You need more culture.
Culture? He bites the heads off of chickens and drinks their blood.
Oh, please. That's a story our parents made up because they think our psyches are too fragile to handle being scared a little. He gets attacked by monsters during his shows, and you're scared of a dead bird.
Salmonella is very real. Monsters in tacky suits, not so much.
Great. I knew you were a nerd.
Yeah.
Wow.
See, it doesn't work when it's intentionally cheesy. They are trying to do bad acting, but they are bad actors, which somehow makes it even worse. I don't even know how to explain it.
Exactly. I couldn't tell if they were trying to be bad actors or not. I couldn't tell if they just sucked or if they were just pretending to suck.
Oh, they are.
But it was terrible.
They're trying to suck.
It's a little bit trying to act. It's a mixture of that and the dialogue. Like the way the dialogue
is written. Yeah, the script is awful.
It's very like just clunky, the dialogue, and it doesn't sound natural, like a natural conversation that any two people, human beings, would ever have with each other, especially if they're friends and in a car.
You've never burst into like 2 hours into a road trip and said, "I can't believe that we're on this trip right now."
I don't know.
Alice Cooper, it's disgusting. Come on, what are you
just
doing?
wait to see the Carpenters. God,
I just want to say to you, Soundboard 3, hit it.
I knew you were a nerd.
I don't know why we think that. We talk about enough nerdy crap. I'm sure we can call each other out with that.
Oh,
thing.
Yeah. That's going to be like, I'll be able to pull that anytime you say something about Star Wars. I'll just say,
I knew you were a nerd.
Nice.
All right. So back to this. So these two girls, they're driving their Bug and they stop off for a picnic, and then this happens.
Joan, do you hear that?
I don't hear anything.
Do you smell that?
What kind of creature makes a smell like...
What? Joan? What is it? What? Joan? What is it?
And yes, they get attacked by the Momo. And the Momo, of course, he looks like crap because it's a B-movie parody. Get it? It's supposed to be bad. Yeah, we get it, but it's not. Why? What's the point?
Yeah.
Those old movies exist. We can watch the old shitty ones.
Yeah.
Brian would say it looks like a Ricky's Halloween costume.
Yeah.
It's a ghillie suit. It's literally just a ghillie suit. And they put
with like a red light inside.
A couple Jawa eyes. It looks like if a Jawa fucked a ghillie suit.
Sometimes it has tusks in some of like the drawings and stuff. I don't know. They were really, but yeah,
it
giant,
outgrows
it looks
them.
like
it's kind of like it.
And stupid hands.
Yeah, really bad hands.
Really rough.
No, I had one of my favorite parts about that whole dialogue or that exchange was her first reaction was, "What kind of creature makes a smell like that?" It's like nobody said it was a creature. Why did you jump to creature? With the smell.
It's hard to sit there and critique that because it's supposed to be intentionally bad, and they're doing it intentionally bad, and they're bad at being intentionally bad. Sorry. This movie, this cold open, this goes on for a good while. The girls get away, and then we cut back to whatever that fake show presenting the fake movie is called, and we get more of the star, the dynamo Lyle Blackburn.
This is Louisiana, Missouri, a town where nothing much ever happens. Until it does. Missouri is my kind of state. It's drenched in history. A lot of it bloody, messy stuff. It's also home to some of the downright weirdest stories you're ever likely to hear. What's really strange, though, is that a good number of these stories come from right here in this town.
Oh, wake up, y'all.
Oh, shit. Sorry, I fell asleep.
Dude,
I didn't realize.
Such a snooze, man. And the weirdest thing to me is so far is the contrast in look versus personality and in this Lyle Blackburn. We already described him earlier. He's this rock star cowboy monster hunter, but he sounds half awake or like completely disinterested anytime he talks. This dude is not charismatic.
No.
Yeah, I think he's like trying to be a cool guy, so he's like, my tone is all the way down here, and you're gonna have to lean in. But
that's so boring. You can't look that like, I don't know, what is he supposed to be, the silent badass? Well, don't be making documentaries. Go be silent. Exactly. And play soundboard clip 4 because it sounds like he almost swallows his tongue here. Listen.
A town where nothing much ever happens until it does.
Ew. You want to take that one again, Lyle? No, we're good.
A town
okay.
where nothing much ever happens until it does.
Until it does.
And you could say that about any town, literally any town in America is a town where nothing happens until it does.
It's like, you guys, things don't happen until they do. That's just the nature of things happening.
His tongue was fighting him to say it. Like, no, don't say this. And he's like, no, it's coming out.
A town where nothing much ever happens until it does.
Get back here.
Hey, it's tough to be a host. You know how tough it is to be a host, Russ. And sometimes those words, they don't want to come out, man.
Oh, it sucks. Yeah. It's not like, oh, man, if only they could edit film documentaries and just get it just right.
That's true. That's true. Where is he, by the way? This whole time, every time they cut to him, he's like standing in the woods, kind of like off the side of the road.
He looks like he's in a Skid Row video. He's like walking around train tracks in slow motion. Yeah, sometimes he's just in a lot. It's really weird. But he gets into this history of the town, Louisiana, and it is a town on a river, and it's really boring stuff. And then he tells the history of monsters in Missouri, which is kind of interesting. And then he gets the stories of a big hairy guy they call the devil, and he beats up dogs. And then fast forward through all the history, get to the story of 1972 and the town of Louisiana, Missouri. Let's hear.
So yes, Missouri has its fair share of hairy monsters and legends. And the most famous of these legends was born right here on this very hill in 1972.
Okay, now the movie starts again. It's like, this is the kind of cutting that is going on, where you get history, you get lulled into this kind of boring documentary about a town that is not interesting. You're just like, yeah, a lot of stuff. We had a river and some stuff happened.
They go into such detail about the town at a certain point where you're like, am I watching a documentary about
city?
About Louisiana, Missouri now? Like, what am I watching?
Which I would have been into. I would have been into it, but there was a point where I was like, okay, this means bathroom break time. And then,
they were like, we had a tobacco factory. It was right there. It's like, who cares?
I love that old guy. He's
this.
like, yeah, they used to make chewing tobacco. That's not coming back.
Yeah, these two old guys. They know everything about this place since the 1800s. How the hell do they know all this stuff? They're not that old. Like
they just haven't been anywhere else. They have nothing else to absorb into their brains.
Yeah, and so maybe, and sometimes, thankfully, it's a weird mix where like you're like, oh, thankfully the documentary's on. It goes to the movie. Then it goes to the movie a while. You're like, oh God, thanks, this is done. Let's go back to the documentary.
Go back.
God. All right, so they're back on the movie, and the actual movie itself, away from that cold open where he chases the girls. And the movie starts with two kids playing outside, and they see a monster. Momo is standing there looking at them very menacingly. The kids run in. They tell their sister. The sister calls the parents. The parents run a diner.
Oh, my God. The best acting I've ever seen in my life.
So
the best acting I've ever seen from those kids, by the way. There's like literally, if you couldn't show less emotion in your acting.
It was real. I saw it. It was real. I saw it.
The intentional bad acting is unintentionally worse. Here's the kid's father, and he is the main star and hero of this crap. His name is Edgar. And Edgar arrives to tend to his kids who interrupted his diner work.
And it had a long stringy hair hanging down. Yes. And Daddy, it had a dog.
It did. Dad, it was carrying a dead dog.
Doris, what was that? What did you say?
I said he was carrying a dead dog. I swear, Dad.
A dead dog. They said it 3 times.
Yeah, like, what? Jeez. I'm sorry. Say it one more time.
Wait, what was that?
Again.
Honestly, I don't blame him because the way the girl said it, play soundboard 5.
Carrying a dead dog.
A TED Talk? Yeah.
Oh,
a TED Talk.
He was carrying a TED Talk.
Oh, man.
Carrying a TED
I guess I don't
Talk.
blame him for asking her. That was
on
probably
TikTok.
I love how he wasn't listening to anything they were saying, and then as soon as they said dead dog, he was like, wait, hold up. What did you say? You said a dead dog?
No, I said
carrying a dead dog.
Yeah.
No second takes in this. They were like, no, it's supposed to be bad. Get it? It's like, no, it's terrible.
We got it. Lock it up.
Yeah, I never realized how much it sounded like TED Talk. Now I'm glad it's a soundboard clip because I didn't catch that.
Yeah, well, I don't think this was intended for someone to like watch this with the idea of doing a podcast about it because you got to pull the audio files. You can hear every little seam in it. I don't know. The dead Edgar, he tries to calm him down. He says monsters are scared of dads, which I thought was
Yeah, they can be.
Monsters
are.
Yeah.
He doesn't look old enough to be a dad, by the way. He's like in his early 30s. He's got 4 kids.
I honestly thought the older sister was his wife. I thought that was the mom. I was like, wait, why is the mom? Why isn't she doing anything? And it's the older sister, but she's like one of those 13 or 30 kids where you're like, she could be either. Who knows?
We used to play a game called what is it? Mistress, Daughter, or Ellen Page is a game we used to play. If we see a mismatched couple, it's like, is that his daughter, his mistress, or is it just Ellen Page? Being both. But yeah, no, this guy, he looks, I mean, they got the dating so wrong with his hair and how he dresses.
Well, thank you for bringing that up because most other people are pretty period specific except for the special effects. But this dude he's just got a guy haircut from now. He looks nothing. There's nothing 70s about him. I mean, the clothes maybe, but nothing at all. He's just like a normal bearded dude.
That haircut.
They show a picture of what the actual guy looked like in his worlds.
No, he looks nothing. Yeah, if you would have given him, if you gave him that buzz cut that the real Edgar had, he could have maybe pulled it off. The daughter, who's not his wife, she does give the best description of Momo in this entire whatever it is.
It was 8 feet tall. It looked like a bear that mated with Jerry Garcia. I could smell it from inside the house. It smelled like rotten eggs and Terry socks.
Okay.
That still just sounds like Jerry Garcia.
Yeah, I'm gonna assume that one of the brothers' names is Terry. Otherwise, it could just be like Terry cloth socks, like Terry socks.
No, I think she's dissing her brother. And yeah, it's kind of like the hippie guys from Aerial School, except this time it's huge. Some depictions of, like I said, it has tusks. And man, the scariest part, of course, is soundboard 5.
It's carrying a dead dog.
Yeah, it's got head dogs. It sounds like such, even if they wrote this, like what 13-year-old in the 1971 is going, it looks like a bear mated with Jerry Garcia. Like, it just doesn't seem, that's not kid talk.
Whoever wrote it, and I know like that.
Mated.
They're trying to maybe hide their bad writing under the guise of like, no, we were trying to make a bad movie, get it? But like, Yeah, who would write that
Yeah, but
line
they
for
did.
that character?
They're like, this is going to be funny. The people are going to laugh at
Like,
this right
people are
now.
gonna be like, oh, it's so schlocky. It's like, no, we know you're
It's-
trying to
it's
make it
just
bad. Yeah, and
bad.
it sucks. Yeah, and it sucks.
Yeah, no.
So
Don't disrespect Jerry Garcia like that.
Yeah, I don't need that mental image of the
Disrespects
smelly
himself.
bear in him.
Ew.
They're mating. Say mating. Come on. The dad, Edgar, he tries to calm the kids down. He says, of course, monsters aren't scared of dads. And then he goes out, he doesn't see anything, whatever. But that night, he stays up to protect the family, and he starts hearing noises. And then this.
I'm sorry, what?
As that it says, stay out of my woods. But the dad isn't affected by this at all. If I don't think they even told him that this was happening. He's just looking out like, man, I don't know. And he goes inside. It's bad.
Nobody reacts. There's no reaction from any of the actors. They're like dazed.
Yeah, and they're probably, and if you made this, you're probably saying, yeah, we wanted it to be like, yeah, we get it. It's bad. It doesn't need to be like, you can make something good.
Yeah,
I don't know.
stop
If
it.
that wasn't terrifying enough, if that voice wasn't terrifying enough, they cut back to Lyle Blackburn again. And he does this really sexy slow motion walk on the train tracks.
Mm-hmm.
And here he is, again, trying to either calm us down or put us to sleep.
The Harrisons were just an average small-town family. They owned a restaurant in town and were well respected and liked by the other residents. They weren't the type to make up monster stories. After years of relating their tale over and over, they had become little more than fictional characters. But they were real people whose lives were about to be turned upside down.
How are they fictional people? They're in a movie once that no one except Lyle Blackburn has ever seen. What is this dude talking about?
I don't like this guy. Like, he walks and talks over his own lines so many times. Like, the whole, I mean, look, things don't happen until they do. So how can we ever know if these people existed until they do exist?
Now it's like, now he's trying to trick us that the movie has been out forever and these are just no, these people have never been fictionalized. You guys fictionalized them, but they're real. They're not really even fictionalized.
These characters that you know and love are real people.
But Roy is not this man's real name.
But now it gets back out of the movie, the quote unquote whatever documentary part. They tell the entire story of the kids seeing the monster again. It's like, we just saw this. We know already. The kids saw it. They move on eventually, and they tell of another Momo encounter that Edgar and his prayer group had in his backyard that also involved UFOs. And boy, this part, guys, when they're sitting outside, there's some great effects on those UFOs.
This is
even
a good
better
one.
than before. It's amazing. It's very well done.
Yeah, looked like there was a UFO there. I'm convinced.
That was
I also
one of
love
the parts.
Betty's response to it.
Yeah, she was. It was really funny, and I gotta say, it was hard to watch because I was constantly distracted, looking for props that would be out of this timeline. They do a good enough job of keeping it, period specific. One guy had on Ray-Bans, and I swear I looked it up.
my God,
I was like, wait, were Ray-Bans? Ray-Bans have been around for the 30s, so good job, Momo set designers.
Russ, I literally looked up that exact same thing. I paused the video and said, Ray-Bans. When were Ray-Bans around? It was like, they've been around since 1937.
I looked for many
But
clues.
in that style.
I was waiting for a Ford Focus to be in the background or something. Anything. I was like, I know they're gonna do it and just be like, whoa, but they actually did a good job of
Because
except
up
the
until
main
this
actor.
point, I still thought it was an actual movie.
You really?
We are still in the time period where I thought this was real.
Man.
I want some of what Jude is smoking, because if you really thought that was real, bro,
I'm running
I want
low.
some of that, dog.
I would love to re-up on that.
This would have been bigger than Star Wars. It got the greatest effects of the early 70s. It's completely unexplainable. So now this
Rob, I'll send you some.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Well, now there's this UFO Momo connection. It gets expanded upon here with the human dynamo returning, Lyle Blackburn.
All of a sudden, people from all walks of life were spotting strange lights hovering above at all hours of the day and night. Even the opening of the 1975 movie is based on a real event. Shortly after the Momo sightings began, a dozen eyewitnesses saw two unidentified lights in the sky above town.
Okay, that's another problem. You can't reference the fake movie like that. We know it's fake. We know the show is fake. Is any of this real so far? It gives it a bad case.
It's if you keep saying it enough, eventually you make it real. I think it's one of those things where they're like if we just keep referring to it like it's an actual movie, then eventually people just go with it.
He's never not said it's a real movie. Yeah, he's been hammered. Did you believe? Man,
I'm still living in this fake documentary world.
Yeah, it's like, which world are you going to choose to live in? It's like, oh man, and just like that UFO crashed in that movie, it had actually happened too, and the movie referenced it. Well, we know because you made all of this. It's all supposed to fit together. This is not Hellier. This is your own thing.
These things, they don't really coincide with each other at any point in this. Like the UFOs are kind of just there. Like they don't actually ever do anything.
No. I remember thinking the same thing, Rob. I was like, okay, and surely these 2 points will converge at some point. They didn't.
I don't know
if they're implying that like Momo is an alien.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
I remember thinking like, what does this have to do with anything?
Momo just gets visited by aliens a lot. I don't know.
No, I think they imply that he's in that crash. So it's possibly an alien. He mentions UFO hunters flocking to the area to find Momo. Momo fever hits this town. They mention Momo burgers quite a few times.
Oh my God, they built it and made burgers out of it. I would try that.
Look, you don't have to take my word for it. Play soundboard 6.
Suddenly, restaurants were selling Momo burgers.
Yeah, see, Lyle says it.
Yeah, the most delicious.
Yeah, it's like the lizard man sandwich. You know, who knows what a Momo burger is? Yeah, that's all it was. It's just a chicken Philly. But
I have transmognified it, if that's a word, to the most delicious burger in the galaxy.
The most delicious burgers in the galaxy.
They might be. That sounds pretty good. I would try it.
And I know one of you mentioned it earlier, and this is one of the things I actually liked about this. There's these 2 old guys who didn't have any connection to anything they ever talked about, but they were alive at the time this happened, and they love to talk, so we have to include them. Let's hear the old guys.
It was bordered on hysteria at one time when it was new, and there was even a song written about it.
I would say, wouldn't you, Willard? I would say it went on for several months. Yeah, there was sighting there about every month or so. Someone say, we seen Momo last night or something like that. And of course, you didn't know whether to believe in what they were doing or it was a hoax, a joke.
Yeah, you can't knock these guys. They're entertaining, so I will never knock these dudes.
Yeah, I want to hear his voice all day. And I love his accent.
They're my favorite. Those are the 2 guys. Those are the Muppets in the balcony. The 2 guys in the balcony. That's who they are right there.
Good call.
Oh, that
I just can't stop thinking every time especially with that clip, it just brings back my parents' dog.
Aww.
It just sounds so much like
Momo.
No. These guys, come on. This is the Stanford and Waldorf of Louisiana, Missouri. They sit up in a balcony all day. Don't cheer up.
These guys are both 100 years old. Also, they're like ancient.
Yeah, they're the best. They're awesome.
They know everything. They know everything that's ever happened in Louisiana, Missouri.
In the past,
so we are. Yeah. So remember, we're out of the movie. We're in the fake documentary or the TV show, whatever the hell it is. So here's an expert they talked to, Michael Huntington, chronicler of the strange. That's a great title. And he describes a Momo encounter that happened a year prior to the Edgar family events.
A couple of local ladies were having a picnic, and they smelled something pungent, something putrid. What came out of the woods certainly was some kind of animal, some sort of hairy, ape-like creature is what they described, hung around the periphery of the tree line, and it frightened these women. You know, they ran to their car, they left their picnic, they even left their keys. I think they had to, honk their horn to scare the creature off, and, by that time he had ran off with their peanut butter sandwiches.
Yeah, we know. This is the opening scene of the fake movie.
Yeah, why would it
was based off something?
My God.
Everything in the fake movie is based off something. Oh, you like those sandwiches, though? Play soundboard 7.
Time he had ran off with their peanut butter sandwiches.
All right, you had to get that a little bit.
So we got ham sandwiches, we got tuna sandwiches, now we got peanut butter sandwiches.
Russ, I just got to say, I love the drop in dynamics from your tone. You went from outrage to how about them sandwiches, though?
Yeah, I've got to calm down a little bit. I get a little too worked up.
Hey, just sit down and have a peanut butter
sandwiches.
He won me by the end, but it's like, dude, why are you talking about that? Was the opening scene. We assumed it was part of this. Like, why? I've got to go over it again. It's like
they
the whole
should have
movie
at least
part with those girls.
I'm still in that opening scene. Like, shout outs to Elizabeth Saint for that incredible acting in that opening scene there.
Yeah, Tournament of Hotties.
Tournament of Hotties shout out right there.
Participants was in this movie. Yeah, another giveaway. Rob's watching this going, man, Elizabeth Saint is that old? Like, how? This was the 70s?
Damn,
she looks the same.
Good.
She looks good for being in her 60s.
If that were the case, then, like, she might have won.
Well, there is another resident they speak with that I want to talk about, and that is a woman named Gail Siddharth. They go into a long bit in both the fake movie and the Lyle show about this great three-toed track that is found by this young Gail. They make casts of it. It is just remarkable proof that Momo is real. And then Gail says this when she's asked about her Momo track she found.
I went out to pick tomatoes out of the garden. So I walked down there, and it was kind of not really muddy out, but it was damp and everything. So I thought, well, I'll just make a little footprint here, and then I'll go in and tell my mom and dad I found a footprint. And so I did that. I made some took my heel and just made impressions in the dirt. And when I went back in, I think I didn't really expect that they would believe me. They would just kind of, go along with it for a few minutes, and then it would kind of be over with.
What? Why are they adding this? She gives no credibility to any of this already fake semen story. It's not even a great reveal either. So yes, she made the tracks, and they waste so much time with these tracks. And the reveal of her saying that, it's not even good because they introduced her early in the movie, and she was listed as local resident and Momo track creator. So when she said that, I was like, oh yeah, they said earlier you created the Momo tracks. Like, is the documentary supposed to be bad too? Is it supposed to be intentionally bad? Is this
I mean,
the
like
B-movie
they
documentary?
clearly have no editors because this is so slapped together and shitty. Okay,
all...
that's what it is. I'm sorry, it's shitty.
She's Momo in the end is really what's going on here. I think
She's
they're
the
like
only proof.
They're like,
yeah.
And surprise, this is Momo.
And the smell was
an
accident. That wasn't even intentional. It just smelled really bad.
She's an asshole for doing this.
Yeah, she is. It gets even more frustrating. Let's hear more.
And I made the impression, and I went back in the house, and I said, oh, look what I found. And so they came out and looked, and then they came out and did a plaster cast of it. And then, like, over the next few days, several different people came out, and they had somebody came out and authenticated the footprint and said, oh yeah, it's definitely from an animal because it has animal hair. And due to the depths of the impressions and everything, they determined its weight and its height. And so by that time I was really too afraid to say anything different, so I just didn't. I just kept my mouth shut, and I just let everybody think that, that whatever had happened was out there.
Yeah, thanks, dummy. You wasted all those people's time. You wasted Lyle Blackburn's time, and most importantly, our time with a non-story. Great job.
I still think that was hilarious, though. She's like, she made them on purpose, and they're like, oh yeah, you could tell by like the weight and all this animal hair.
Yeah,
and that's why she was afraid to speak up, because she's like, oh man, it's true. Oh, wow. They think I'm an animal.
I have animal hair.
Yeah, I just big-timed all these cryptozoologists and ufologists. Like, oh, for sure, it's a three-toed foot, and it's stride. That's why there's only one. It's like, yeah, well, good job, but why is this even in here? It seems like you're just filling time with bogus stuff. They're like, oh, well, it's not. Why? It just did not need to be in a documentary or a fake movie. Why does she have
animal hair
exactly.
on her feet,
like,
too?
That's why she was...
What is going...
She kept quiet because she was embarrassed.
This is Missouri people, Louisiana, Missouri. They can't even, like, they got to take the state I live in's name. I don't know. So they cut back to the movie again, and it looks like it is starting to ramp up to some kind of showdown. The sheriff and Edgar Harrison, he's the guy, our hero. They get this big posse together to, I don't know, kick the devil in the teeth. Yeah. So here's a clip. Here's a clip of them briefing the posse of monster hunters to go kill Momo.
We're going to split off into two groups. I'm going to take one, and Edgar Harrison's going to take the other. Any questions?
Yeah. Anyone want any fur coats once I bag this critter?
Ooh, me.
Yeah, wow, great line.
Oh, yeah, I made a note about that one. Just, I was like...
Okay.
all we've talked about is how this creature smells like shit.
Yeah.
It smells like rotting fucking flesh and garbage.
It smells like that kid's socks.
Made of an animal.
Yeah,
it smells like shit.
It smells like rotting flesh.
Give it to a
shitty
girlfriend you want to dump, but you don't want to actually, like, you don't have the balls to dump her. Give her some shitty smelling gifts.
It's not just one. It's multiple fur coats. He's like, who wants some fur coats, guys? It's one monster, dude. And it doesn't even look like fur. It looks like weird moss. It's gross. You wouldn't want to wear that.
Yeah, it looks like he's covered in like
Smell
Spanish.
it!
The majority of this shit looked like it came from a Spirit Halloween store, or I'm sorry, a Ricky's. I don't know. I don't have that on the West Coast.
I don't know. It looks like it probably smelled like
carrying a TED Talk.
Oh, yeah. It smells like a TED Talk.
It smells like a TED Talk in here. Ugh.
Yeah, this is the time when the documentary went to the movie again. It was just like, oh god. This is when I realized I was like, this is hell. This is like purgatory. You're just between two worlds. You go in this and it sucks. You go over here and it sucks. So mercifully, the movie part it ends shortly after this. Edgar guy, he runs off commando style. He gets all these guys together to just run off on his own, and he finds the monster and he shoots it. And then it disappears because he shot it between the eyes with a shotgun. And did you guys notice Bobo from Finding Bigfoot? He was in those Posse of Hunters. He even had a line.
I thought they looked familiar, but I was just so distracted. And by that point, honestly, I was like, I don't know, 10 shots of whiskey in. Like I was losing grip on reality.
Oh, I'll tell you who he was. It was some of his best work ever. They even insinuate that he farts. He didn't, though. That was the monster smell. That was the big joke. So,
did you smell it?
Oh, they wrap up the Lyle. Yeah, I feel as exhausted as if I watch this again. It's just like, fuck. So they wrap up the Lyle interview parts after this. And if you didn't believe this story yet, these statements aren't going to sway you.
And they thought they'd found a nest or something in there. To answer your question, I don't remember much about it.
He was a young man. I just wanted to see what this was. If it was, I wanted to get a hold of him like everyone else.
Whoa.
But we never found nothing, never saw nothing, never smelled nothing. They said he had a terrible odor, but none of this came true on my part.
Okay, so nothing happened and no one really remembers anything. Great. Great dog.
Yeah. The old guys say it's got to be true, too. If those guys are saying it, I listen to those guys.
Yeah.
Anybody in this documentary.
Well, I don't know. If someone's so adamant about not smelling anything, like, no, I didn't smell anything. Why would you smell anything? It wasn't me.
I didn't deal with
everything in this town. It's like, what are we doing here? So here's even more.
So when they were up there doing their search, did they find anything?
I don't remember if they did or not. I don't know. I mean, it was actually later, maybe as years went past that, well, this was found and this was there, that type of thing. But at the time...
Did anybody claim to have shot Momo during that time?
Again, not that I'm aware of. I personally don't believe there was anything there to shoot. I think some people saw something, but as far as being a Bigfoot, I think that's a little extreme.
Yeah, again, as everyone in town says, oh yeah, there's nothing. This is a big nothing.
I do have to say though, I kind of appreciate that kind of transparency, because after 2 weeks of watching Ancient Aliens and whatnot, where they just go through these unimaginable leaps and weird conclusions, I kind of appreciate when people say, you know what, we're not sure.
Yep. That's great, but this is not like Mothman or Bigfoot or anything anybody cares about. Nobody is worried if Momo was real or not. They put this in front of us. They made a fake movie, a fake TV show, they made all this to show us this thing, and everyone sounds like, yeah, I don't know. And
they're trying to get some resolution out of this somehow. They're trying to get some sort of like a resolve to the story. Everybody that they ask is just like, I don't remember.
Yeah, that's the weird part. Them saying they don't remember. Like, I can't remember anymore.
It's not a good sign.
Something about
I don't
it.
think they interviewed a single person who was a witness of Momo.
You guys, Men in Black.
Yeah, there's no witnesses.
This is someone's van. I don't know. This is somebody who's like, oh, this is my favorite one. We should do an entire fake movie about Momo. Yeah. This is a striking thing, as we've heard in those last two clips, because it's always the locals who they love and they defend their hometown cryptid. Not Momo, though. Let's hear.
Yeah, I didn't live Momo. I didn't look for Momo.
But I was not in the hub of Momo. Maybe that's why I don't find it so terribly important. Hey, I don't deny that it is a part of Louisiana's history. Important history? Not in my eyes, but a piece of our history.
I don't think anybody really took it that serious. Maybe at the time, but not now.
Well, the forgotten part of it, I hadn't thought of Momo in 20 years. It was something that was here, you talked about it, and then it died, as far as I was concerned.
Okay.
Yeah, no one cares.
Yeah.
Again.
Okay. See that now? Yeah, this part definitely shouldn't have been included. Like the whole past 30 seconds is just
This whole thing
discrediting
should
the
have
whole
been made.
thing.
What's the point? Who is this for? It's not for them. They don't even care. Like, I didn't even think about it in 20 years until you guys came in here. What are you even talking about?
Part of the history.
It's part
sure,
of history, but it's not an important part of history.
No,
Okay.
there's important history, and then there's Momo. So let's put our resources into this. It's like, who cares? Like, there probably is actually something that might have actually happened in that town, that boring town, that was even better than this. Who cares?
Oh,
So
man.
This guy here, he sums up the general attitude these people have towards Momo.
It doesn't make any difference. I mean, you're the first people I've heard talk about Momo in years. That's it. I mean, it's just something in the paper, a little blurb, remember Momo, and that's the extent of it.
Yeah, great choice in monster stories, Lyle. Again, no one cares.
No one's even talking about this thing. He hasn't heard of it in years. It's a blurb every once in a while.
What
We'll
does
see a
that make
blurb
us?
about it.
I feel like we should have just ignored it, but I can't because
Oh,
Lyle
no,
Blackburn
because this is too rich.
No way. Lyle Blackburn has some explaining to do. As why are they even talking about this, Lyle?
You might see a movie like The Legend of Boggy Creek or Creature from Black Lake, or even the never-released Momo the Missouri Monster as a silly, stupid reflection of history, an unreal take on real events. But that ain't the way I see it. Movies are entertainment, sure. Sometimes silly, sometimes over the top, sometimes downright terrible. But movies like this perpetuate a significant story. Momo the Missouri Monster is important because it's doing its own small part to preserve an event that the town itself is doing its best to forget.
Huh.
All right, wake up, y'all. I swear this is almost over. I feel like I have to ramp this whole show up to 11 because this guy is starting to pull the energy down of any scene he's in.
Dude, I'm on my third cup of coffee just because of his voice.
I don't know what he's... why you make this? You didn't have to include those people saying they didn't care. You didn't have to include the footprint. You didn't have to do any of this. You could have just
he's
made
doing
a
this
good
whole
one.
thing of like, he's like, look, this whole town is trying to forget. It's like, yeah, they're trying to shut you up. And he's like, let me just put all of this entirely discrediting stuff into my film to make me look dumber. Yeah, I don't know why he did that.
I don't know, because he thought that he could wrap it up in this, like, Jerry Springer style, like, final thought, and he would make us all go, oh, man, Lyle's right, man. We got to go there. So please go on, Lyle. I think you've almost sold us.
Is it factually accurate in every detail? Nah. But no retelling of any story ever is. The best that we can hope for is that in time, the legend of Momo isn't forgotten, that the monster and the people whose lives it affected are remembered. Their experiences and stories are preserved. You might say it's just a silly little monster movie. And maybe you're right. But to some of us, it's a whole lot more.
Yeah.
Yay, it's over. Did he get you? Are you guys sold now?
Yeah, oh, totally. I'm sold that he's the only one who seems to care about this legend. He's like, no, it means a lot more to so many other people, which is just him.
Because you created it.
Yeah, they're over here like, no, seriously, it's not a big deal. They're like, no, these people are in denial. They need to be reminded.
These vague stories, this indifference from an entire town, these fake prints, this is important stuff we should talk about. See this here? This story that no one's ever verified? You see this fake movie that we made and are still pretending is fake? You think, I don't know, forget it. I'm sorry, Lyle Blackburn. Yeah, but
he's hairy. He's scary.
Oh man,
I need the guitars behind me. That's what makes it sound listenable. You put those rocking guitars behind you, you can say anything, and you got some people.
A town where nothing much ever happens until it does.
That's my favorite line out of this whole thing. That's my favorite part.
That is. It's the best.
For sure.
Well, if you guys aren't sold, then you are not alone. Because looking at the reviews of this movie on Amazon, it is pretty brutal. It has a 3-star rating, and the sentiment of most of the negative reviews can be summed up with this one. Here we go. From Amazon Reviews, quote, I have loved Seth Breedlove's previous movies, but this one absolutely misses the mark on nearly every level. It's way overproduced and has way too many quote-unquote actors, using the term loosely, trying to outperform each other. It's amateur hour in effects. Hey, I'm not going to agree with that. The effects in this were actually very good.
Except for the costumes.
Sure.
The costumes were not.
Oh,
No,
their
whatever.
clothes. Nobody had their shirts tucked in.
Well, just the suit.
It's amateur hour in effects, acting, and not entertaining, just stupid. I think Seth gathered his favorite people, Bobo Fay and Cliff Barackman from Chasing Bigfoot, and Lyle Blackburn, and tried to do a quick cash grab. The pacing entirely off when it starts as a reenactment that's cringeworthy, and then switched to Blackburn basically hosting a podcast for one of his own episodes, and then back to god-awful reenactments with even worse acting. With only 15 minutes to go, I had to turn it off. It's not worth the time. I mean this sincerely. I truly hope Seth Breedlove learns from the mistake and goes back to more professional production. Oh, man. Oh, yeah, so...
Ouch.
Not...
Yeah,
this thing, the reviews were rough on this, and you could tell the ones that were just by all the people that were in the movie giving it 5 stars. Like I even recognize some of the names from the credits, like some guy named Forkman, and yes, I did. I reckon they might have been Patreon. I don't know if they were. If this was
cringy.
Kickstarter, I don't know how they were doing this, but yeah, I could definitely match up some familiar names.
Bobo Fay.
Yeah, I thought you said Boba Fett
Fett
at first. Yeah, sorry.
No, that's the guy I pointed out earlier. The guy from whatever, Finding Big Bobo. He had his big moment, but it takes you out of it.
I've just been lulled to sleep by this movie. Now my brain is mush.
I did fall asleep. I will admit I fell asleep halfway through, and I made myself
it had to be a Lyle
finish
part.
it. Yeah,
Lyle.
It's rough.
Lyle's getting those repeat views. He knows what to do. If I can put him halfway to sleep, they're going to watch it again because I don't remember any of this. What is he?
Oh my God, that's a good point, Russ.
Ugh.
Maybe that's he wants people to just get more views on there by clicking play again. Wow.
Yeah, smart. But unfortunately, he's just getting more 1-star reviews because of that. And I'm going to stop here with this Momo, and I'm going to say I'm still a fan of Small Town Monsters. I like all of their stuff, really, except this, because this one was god-awful. And let's move on now. Holy crap, this Momo thing, this took up a lot of time, but we're going to talk about the other Momo out there, the actual famous Momo. And this all started about 1.5 years ago. And according to the Momo lore, the Momo Challenge is a viral game shared on messaging services like WhatsApp that goads young children into violence or even suicide. Images of a devilish bird lady supposedly pop up with creepy messages and commands that are said to escalate to extreme violence and horror. And Momo herself is an image of a statue called Mother Bird made by artist Kensuke Asawa, who works with the Japanese special effects company Link Factory. And when Momo, we know this statue. You've seen the image of Momo, the V-shaped mouth, the bird legs, just really creepy looking statue.
Oh yeah.
I really wish I'd never seen it, honestly. Like, it does haunt my dreams.
It's a cursed image for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. And a rare one that got his 15 minutes of fame. And I find it so ironic that this all happened while they were making this Momo film. So when this film came out, this just came out late last year, Momo was already in the news. So when it came out, it was like, oh, Momo, the doll. It's like, no, the monster everyone loves. It's like, no, this is Momo.
They're like, wait.
What we were talking about.
Wait, you mean Zozo? Is that the one you're talking about? And they're like, no.
You can't say that name out loud, Rob.
Is that...
I meant to say Momo.
Creepy doll from Missouri? I've never heard that. So Momo started on that WhatsApp, and then it moved from WhatsApp to the YouTube Kids app, where Momo would be inserted into innocent kids videos where she would tell kids this.
Ooh, look at that one, vanilla. Hey, it's Momo again. That was the neat trick, huh, kids? Did you do everything Momo said to do last time? No, I need another favor. But don't worry, it's real easy, kids. Go find the sharpest toy you can find. Your dad may have one in the garage, or just check Mom's kitchen for a knife.
Oh, God. Okay, I didn't want to hear the voice.
Kid out.
Oh, my God. It's freaking me out.
This is what you should be making documentaries about. That's a monster nobody cares about. This thing's terrifying.
Oh my God.
So let's get through it. Here's some more of Momo from that video on the YouTube Kids app.
When you found a fun, sharp toy, hold the handle and press the sharp end down really hard on your wrists here, and drag it as hard as you can to here. If it hurts, don't stop. You have to be brave for Momo. If you did it right, there should be lots of red stuff coming out. Remember that this is the easy and fun way. If you don't do it, Momo will come get you while you sleep.
Oh my God.
Oh God.
Yeah, and then it goes back to an innocent kids video where they're making ice cream or something. This is so messed up.
Fuck
this was
Momo.
This is like as bad as
Still
Elsa
sounds
Gate.
like my parents' dog.
Oh, your dog does that? Well, that's why your dog eats shit in the backyard, Jude.
This is so weird. What kind of person out there is making that, number one, and is like that evil that they just want to make kids do bad shit? And this goes back to like Elsagate type shit, but this is like, it reminds me, I just recently saw a video of, do you know those Ring doorbells that people have? Apparently those things can get hacked. So people are now hacking into those things. And I saw a video where some little girl is in her room and the hacker goes into the thing and he says, "Hey, you could do whatever you want right now. Break everything in the room. No one will care." Those are like the same sort of people doing this kind of shit.
Rings, Alexas, all that stuff gets hacked. It's really crazy. But
technology is bad, you guys.
But it just reminds me of like the same evil people that do these sort of things. Like,
there are people out there who want to digitally harm kids. It sucks. It's terrible. What the fuck? Yeah, that's why we always got to stay on the front of this, like we did with Elsagate. And see, this was Momo's misstep, because on WhatsApp, adults don't know that. Even kids probably, I don't know. It's not even big in America, so we didn't care at all. So once she invaded the YouTube Kids, that's when people really started freaking out. And here is a news story about a little boy who was very frightened.
7-year-old Tim knows how to navigate a smartphone.
Dr. Squish!
His favorite games and videos are right at his fingertips.
We didn't really think anything of it at first.
Mom Sarah Markham thought sites like YouTube Kids were safe.
When we would put him to bed, he would be scared and he'd be like, "Well, what about Momo?"
Momo? She didn't recognize the name, but Tanner couldn't sleep, so they took him to a child therapist.
Momo came up, and then the therapist was asking more about it, and he actually got my phone and said, "Okay, Google, show me Momo."
Momo's going to kill you.
Whoa.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, Momo sucks. We don't want Momo on a soundboard, do we? Play soundboard 8.
Momo's going to kill you.
Okay.
Why would you do that?
I like how you asked us and then you just went straight ahead without,
Now we have a cursed soundboard clip.
Great.
Momo.
No.
Going to kill you.
No Momo.
No Momo.
No. Yeah, keep that out of poll results. We're going to just get rid of it. So, boy, Momo, that's where you mess up when you get on the YouTube Kids app, and this kid got really frightened. This is a kid. So let's hear more about Momo on the news.
This terrifying face is circulating the web, interrupting kids' videos on YouTube.
It was just creepy out. It had a B-shaped mouth.
Momo terrified Tanner.
Nightmares.
But the creature is not just scary. It's her message that has child psychologists concerned.
This very frightening looking figure is telling them, "You should kill yourself, and this is how."
Look in her eyes.
There's nothing funny about that. There's nothing cute about that, and it's extraordinarily harmful.
I need to sign up.
The Markhams are doing things differently around their house now.
I have to watch YouTube with her. I can't just watch it in my room by myself. And just be aware of what your kids are watching. They shouldn't watch scary videos anymore.
In Tooele, Gennaro, 2 News.
Oh, poor Tanner. It gave him nightmares, and now he has to watch videos with his mom. Lame.
That does suck.
I like the other.
Just ruining everyone's lives.
I like the other Momo better. Go back to the other Momo. Cheesy Momo.
This is dark. I'd rather hear Lyle Blackburn's stupid, dumb voice. I'm sorry, it's not stupid or dumb. It's just sleepy. Than this.
Yeah, come on. I want to see a Momo 2 about this, and I bet you it'll be way more exciting because you have something to talk about.
Carry a TED Talk.
There we go.
Yeah,
I'd much rather hear that shit than.
But
I don't
the
wanna
story
hear this.
It grew even bigger, and here's a Momo scare piece on the nationally syndicated show Inside Edition, and this time she is freaking out 3-year-olds.
This ghoul is freaking everyone out.
She's called Momo. She's got bug eyes, long stringy hair, a monstrous grimace, and spooky chicken legs. Imagine this freaky character suddenly popping up in cartoons on YouTube channels for kids.
Momo's gonna kill you.
It's horrifying.
Bianca Becerra says Momo left her 3-year-old daughter traumatized.
That thing telling her to throw herself in the garbage and to throw herself from a slide to hurt her head. That's just terrifying.
I mean, throwing yourself in the garbage, that does sound pretty funny, though.
Throw yourself in the garbage. I mean, it's not.
Sounds kind of fun.
Yeah, it does. It's not as extreme as slitting your wrist. Like, hey, kid, go throw yourself in the garbage or jump off a slide. Whatever one. Whatever's more convenient.
Momo's an asshole.
Yeah.
Once again, I'll say it. Momo's an asshole.
If honestly, if Momo was just saying to, like, throw yourself in the trash or just do dumb things, it's not going to kill you. I'm fine with that. But the other stuff,
that's like Oscar.
It's totally
It's fine.
unacceptable. Well, luckily, Momo alarmists would now have a champion to spread the word. A celebrity champion.
Even Kim Kardashian, a mom of 3 little ones, is posting a warning on Instagram. Parents, please be aware and very cautious of what your child watches on YouTube. There is a thing called Momo that's instructing kids to kill themselves. Please pay attention. This is not a joke.
New warnings from police and schools about the so-called Momo challenge.
So who and what is Momo? Cybersecurity expert Perry Aftab.
It's the boogeyman under the bed, the monster in the closet.
Our expert says the so-called Momo challenge started off as an urban legend that, unfortunately, is now becoming all too real.
Teach your kids to talk to you, come to you when things go wrong, and not believe everything they see on the internet.
Yeah, Kim K is on the case. Boy, it would be nice if ElsaGate had some kind of... It'd be nice if ElsaGate had a champion because those videos are going really strong. Any Momo video, you cannot even find whatever these original Momo videos are. But I don't know. It's all disgusting.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm glad, like, I've only seen the pictures of Momo before. Like, this is the first time that I'm hearing any audio of it. And I'm glad because that image freaked me out, a grown-ass adult, enough to the point where I didn't want to seek it out. So I can only imagine how traumatizing it is for children when it comes up in the middle of just their innocent little videos.
Yeah, it was supposedly, it would pop up in Peppa Pig videos and other just very innocent videos, and Momo's telling you to throw yourself in the garbage or to you find the sharp.
I still think throwing yourself in the garbage
house
is funny.
Yeah. But once Kim Kardashian was on the case, Momo's days of terror were numbered. The media went so far as to find the creator of the original Momo statue. And here's that story.
The Sun has tracked down the creator of the chilling Momo sculpture to a backstreet factory in Tokyo, Japan. The artist behind it, Kaisuke Iso, is horrified to find his artwork being used to terrify little children around the world. About the mother bird, I made it about 3 years ago to have it exhibited at a gallery. I had to destroy the piece because it was getting rotten, so I disassembled it and got rid of it. I got rid of Momo, so it is no longer here with me. I believe it no longer exists in this world.
Okay, so the curse is now broken, but what?
Oh, good.
Why was it getting rotten? What did that mean? Was it made of food, or does he mean just the negative press that it was rotten? I don't think that translated well from Japanese.
Well, I remember.
You're probably right.
I remember when this was like all over the news, when it was really popular at the time. It was just whatever it was made out of. It was made out of some sort of paper mache or some sort of like plastic shit that just over
so
time
it got moldy.
it rots. Yeah, like it literally rots and falls apart over time. So just imagine how creepy it looked, and then it turned into like a zombie version of that.
They should have got a picture of that when it was getting all decrepit and stuff.
They show him. They show him with the face of Momo, and he's got the eyes in his hand. He's like, "Yeah, we took it apart. It was falling apart. It's wrong."
Yeah, so
there's a video. It's out there. There's an article
when
on
it was
Rolling
originally
Stone.
made, but he made this thing, and it looked that creepy when he first made it. Then, right?
Yeah.
So he was like, I'm horrified that people would have taken this to make something scary. It's like, bro, you made a really fucking scary looking thing. You're surprised at this? My God.
Yeah. But I will say, as quickly as Momo arrived on the scene, once Kim K was on the case, that was it. She then disappeared altogether. Have you guys heard anything about Momo in the last year and a half? No, not at all. Right?
I'm not going to credit Kim Kardashian with me not having heard of it. It just blinked out.
You should you should credit Kim Kardashian with that. I think you should give her credit for that.
I didn't even know that
at
she
least.
said anything about it. So now that I know about it, I'm going to continue to not give her credit.
Well, you're not worried about kids or anything. You're not on that radar. But the big mystery to me about this whole thing is that you can't find any of these Momo videos that they're talking about. That kid got scared and he couldn't watch his phone, or the little girl. There is just one video of a person filming their phone as a video plays, but that's it. And the amount of freak out about this, it just doesn't seem appropriate. Even the stories about people crying from the challenge have been verified. I don't know. One article said that there were 700 Russian people that died from Momo suicides. I don't know about any of the hype. Yes.
How do they verify that? That's
They didn't verify any of it. No,
I don't know about that.
You go to Russia,
you can't tell they're
probably
dead
think-
already. You don't know why they did it.
Yeah, exactly. They got tagged by Momo. Yeah, I bet if you went to Russia, they would have the same reaction that people in Louisiana, Missouri had. Like, we didn't care, we don't care, we'll never care.
Yeah, you'd only
It's
know
not
if
a thing.
they had like an eye missing and they were wearing a diaper and they had shit in their mouths and they were in Jude's backyard.
If you ask most people, if you were to ask most people what happened to that Momo, they would probably say they don't remember. I don't remember.
Yeah, probably.
I don't remember, and I don't care because
I don't
that's
remember.
What
Yeah, a lot of
people's
people don't
feelings are
remember
towards Momo.
because, think about what we have to worry about now compared to this. Boy, it was innocent times. But in this first incarnation of Momo on WhatsApp, there were 3 numbers you could call to contact Momo. And oh my God, there is just a ton of YouTubers just latched onto that. And there's all these really dumb videos where they call the number and they freak out. They go, oh my God, it's ringing. That's just dumb, right? I mean, how lame is it to think you can call a number and actually talk to this suicide chicken monster doll? But that being said, do you guys want to call Momo? Because I actually have a number.
You can. I'm gonna just take my headphones off and I'm gonna look at pictures of cats.
No, you got to stick in here. I'm gonna
Okay.
got it here, and let's call Momo. Let's see what happens here.
Oh God.
Okay, here he is. Oh, guys, it's ringing. It's ringing.
All's well that ends well. See you again, my father.
What the? Okay, remove from call. Get out of there. So that is what
Hello?
happens if you call.
Oh my
What
God.
the fuck was that?
Did you guys hear that? Yeah.
The only word I understood was galaxy.
I heard Galaxy.
It
I
didn't
also
sound
heard
like she wanted to throw
chicken
us in the
fingers.
trash or anything. Yeah, it's hard to make out. We'll have to go analyze that. Oh boy, I don't know. Okay then, but we have
Oh
gone
my
long.
God.
Drea, do you have any
Yes.
final thoughts on Momo or Momo?
I think that Momo is underrepresented and Momo is overrepresented.
Okay, how about you, Jude? Momo, or Momo?
I just love Momo. He's a
Oh,
little
that's
cute
Gizmo.
guy.
Oh,
Yeah.
jeez.
Oh, the other ones,
Good.
no, fuck them.
Good. How about you, Rob? Any thoughts on Momo or Momo?
No Momo. I'm done with Momo. I've seen plenty. I've seen enough Momos to last me another 20 years, I think, at this point.
Yeah, that whole thing,
Disgusted
man.
with
Small
both of
Town
them.
Monsters. Love you, Small Town Monsters. Lyle Blackburn, we're just roasting you. You're awesome. It's just a joke, and that's it. Let's get out of here then. No mo Momos.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. All right, I like
Hey,
Momo
if you-
now.
Yeah.
If you gotta go, right? There you go.
Yeah.
Some Momo remixes out there. Oh, well, this was a fun one. Yeah, trying to. We knocked out both Momos in one episode, and I think I think we've exposed them.
Yeah, it was a lot, dude. This was heavy.
It is. It's that documentary too. We had to include that. I don't know that whole thing. It's like,
Oh, man.
why are you wasting people's time with this stuff? At least Momo was threatening. The other Momo was
It just brought me down to that Elsagate level of just being really creeped out. And Russ, I am worried for kids. Okay, just because I don't have children doesn't mean that I'm not concerned for other people's children. But
I get you. I know. It's just
yeah,
it
I
doesn't
still
come on your radar at the same
I don't want to give it the I don't want to give it the credit. You know, I don't want to think about it, and so you give it more power when you think about it. You know.
It's true. And no one's thinking about Momo anymore. Honestly, the only reason we ever even brought it up is it's so just gone. It's like, I knew someone somewhere would search and find that this episode was called Momo and be like, oh, cool, it's about that crazy doll. I go, what is a mountain Missouri monster? This is not Momo. So
mountain monsters.
I am glad that you covered both of our bases there. This way, anybody who searches for Momo, either one of them, we're giving them something that they want. We're giving them a little bit of something that they want.
Yeah, and a shout out, I will say, if you go join Patreon, there is an episode called Rus vs. Lyle Blackburn where he was on the Ted and Cindy psychic show. He was on as a guest, and I kind of messed with him a little bit about Momo, and we talked about Bigfoots a little bit, but that's on there.
I remember that. Yeah.
So I guess the one-sided feud continues. Love you, Lyle. But let's get out of here now. I know, right? He never will. This is no one's radar, but we're watching you guys. So let's get into another thing now. Let's get into the Unbelievers mailbag.
The Unbelievers mailbag.
Hey man, check your mailbox.
Hey, you got some new mail over here.
Sup, bitches? It's mail time.
Yes, thank you, everyone. We send us some more. We need to make that longer. But yes, it's the Unbelievers mailbag. And tonight, Drea is going to read us a mail from Unbeliever Johnny. And so I will throw to you, Drea.
All right. Yeah, this one was, it was thrown to us a little bit. It was a while back, but he had mentioned that he had a story, and we have not really been able to get around to it until now. So it starts off, I guess to start off, I was an MP in the army stationed in Wiesbaden, Germany. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I was with the 1st Armored Division, 501st MP Company, when we were deployed in Iraq, just outside of Tikrit. My company was tasked with multiple missions while there, including personal security detachment, combat patrols, and convoy security. During our first few weeks, while the prior unit was preparing to leave, I volunteered to work at the main gate for the base as watchover on the 50 cal. Working at the gate proved to be pretty boring for the most part. I sat in the shack, made out of some barriers and sandbags behind the 50, just staring out at the desert. Occasionally, me and the guy who was on Overwatch with me would just use the binoculars and watch the kids outside the nearby village play soccer. After about a week, I switched to nights, and that proved to be even more uneventful and boring. And there was one night in mid-September of 2007 that my sighting occurred. I stepped outside to relieve myself after sitting for about 4 straight hours. As I walked down around the back of the shack, as that's what we came to call it, I looked up at the sky to check out the stars, as light pollution was extremely low out there. It was fairly bright, with the moon at a 45-degree angle from me. Something told me to look to the right, towards the base, and I was looking at a triangular-shaped craft just hovering what seemed to a little bit more than 50 feet above the ground. The sides of the craft seemed to be 20 feet across, maybe a little more. It was black and pale blue, with the light centered on the bottom. Oh, a pale blue light centered on the bottom. It had almost what seemed to be like a shimmer about it, almost like it was electrified. There was no sound whatsoever coming from it. I stared at it for what had to have been about a minute. I thought about getting the guy in the shack so I could make sure that I wasn't crazy. As I turned to move, I saw 2 men at the base of the tower across the road from the shack looking at the same direction of the craft. When I turned back, the craft was no longer there. I walked over toward the tower and approached the men standing at the steps leading up. I was a bit unsure as to what to say, so I just asked, "Did you guys see that?" I wasn't sure how to address them, as they were wearing ACUs with no name tapes on them. Their uniforms didn't even have a U.S. Army tape or a unit insignia. The guy on the left answered and said, "We didn't see a thing, and neither did you. Aren't you on the gate?" I said, "Yes, sir." Yeah, I said, "Yes, sir," and turned to walk back to the shack. I was already a bit shaken from what I had seen, but the men at the tower made it a bit worse. I got back to the shack and have never said a word about the incident until now. The sighting has been in the back of my mind ever since. After thinking about it for a while, I have a theory. Not sure about what the craft was, although I'm pretty sure it was military, but I'm not sure what the craft was doing. Not far from where the tower was located, there was a small blimp tethered to the ground. The blimp had a very powerful camera on the bottom that could see at an extreme distance all around the base. I wondered if they may have been doing an exercise and testing out the possible cloaking abilities of the craft, as the camera could see both in night vision and infrared. I know a little bit about the tech that they had on the blimp, as well as the tower and the X-ray scanning machine used for the cars and personnel coming onto the base because I had a buddy that was military intelligence who worked in that area. We had a lot of tech when I was over there, and the tech didn't come out until a few years later. So I would love to hear an opinion on my sighting. I'm definitely not looking for attention or fame, as I have no claim to what this was. But if you run into anyone else that reaches out to your show with something similar, or if you have any questions or something that adds to the experience, I would love to hear from you. Thanks for listening to my crazy story. But that's not that crazy to me. Yeah, that sounds legit.
It's a great story, especially the parts about seeing the guys with no name tags. So they know there's already some kind of weird, high-level military strangeness going on to begin with, and that there's a camera there that's supposed to be filming all these things. And I agree with that. Maybe it is a test. I mean, I wasn't there, of course. I'm just hearing your story, but I do like your theory that a lot of this isn't alien. This is stuff that we have. I don't know.
Yeah. It could be technology that we're getting from aliens, though. Still, it's, like those stealth bombers and some of the stuff that they're developing. It's pretty advanced, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's, backtracked alien technology.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And, what do you think, Jude?
Yeah, this comes back to, I think about a year and a half ago, I read Secret Machines.
Mm.
Like
Ooh.
the Tom
DeLonge
with the
book.
K, the
Secret
Machines.
Secret
This literally is what he was talking about.
Yeah.
In there. And like sort of the novelization of it is, okay, something crashed in the desert, maybe not 1947, maybe it wasn't Roswell, but sometime back around then. It could have been Aztec or one of the other crashes. And so they reverse engineered it. And then they created what we now call the TR-3B, the triangular black.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Exactly.
Spacecraft. And so I would not be at all surprised if this was like that, like Unbeliever Johnny.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like Unbeliever Johnny had said, like they were testing to see if that blimp could pick it up on the radar. Like I don't know why they would need to test it still, because I would imagine that they would have been tested along the way.
Thoroughly at the time.
Yeah, and that seems to be almost an accidental test.
Maybe they were testing the cloaking capabilities of it, or they were just testing some sort of functions on it particularly,
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and actually, so part of the way that story rolls out is like they bring in a new pilot and like he's learning to fly. They don't call it a TR-3B, but essentially the TR-3B. So when he does that, like he goes into outer space, low Earth orbit, and there's like zipping around like some other places around the planet. And so I wouldn't be surprised if that story is somewhat true, like the underlying elements of it, if a pilot, like a new pilot or just a pilot of a TR-3B went over there, is like, oh, hey, test it out, like see that they can't see you or whatever,
right.
blah, blah, blah. And then like those things can disappear virtually instantaneously.
Yeah.
And any military stories that I'm hearing now, because I recently watched something we might do an episode on called Walking with the Tall Whites. The military alien connection is great. And yeah, we would do want to know more about this, Unbeliever Johnny. If anyone has had a similar experience, let us know. We'll match this up. But I got to say, thank you very much, Unbeliever Johnny, Drea. Thanks for reading that for us.
Send some more.
So freaking cool.
Very awesome. And and send us some more stories, or if you want to be on the clip you're about to hear, because that was the Unbelievers podcast mailbag.
The Unbelievers mailbag.
Hey man, check your mailbox.
Hey, you got some new mail over here.
Sup, bitches? It's mail time.
I gotta say, my favorite part of the show is just saying two sentences between two clips. It's so cheesy. Why do we do it? But we're at the end of the show, so of course it's time for poll results. This week's poll: who's the worst in the paranormal? And the choices were Uri Geller, Carlos the Chandler, a Peter Popoff, a James Heydrich, and other. And I'm going to ask you, Jude Prestia, what do you think the Unbelievers said?
Peter Popoff.
All right. What about you, Drea?
James Heydrich, honestly.
Okay. How about you, Rob?
I hate Peter Popoff, so I'm going with Peter Popoff.
All right. Well, Jude and Rob, congratulations. Tied for first place is Peter Popoff.
And Carlos the Chandler with 4.76% of the vote.
Wow, so I was like last. Great.
Yeah, you didn't get anything. No one said hydrate.
Can't win every time, Drea.
No, I hardly do.
And of course, there are others. Who's the worst in the paranormal? They are all full of beans. Is that understood? Signed the Blackie Anunnaki. And shout out to Blackie Anunnaki. I missed your poll results, and I apologize.
Yeah.
But you're gonna get your clips now. Let's hear.
Yeah, but my mother thought I was full of beans, so.
Full of beans?
Alamosa, Colorado 1. Is that understood,
Understood, yes.
Yes, thank you. Oh, thank you, Blackie Anunnaki, for lighting this up. Who's the worst in the paranormal? I find it easier to bend spoons with my hands. Signed, K. Mill. All right,
Okay.
coming in. I like it. Who's the worst in the paranormal? I can't think of the technical term. Oh, yeah, bullshit. Signed, Boner Yogurt. Very
Nice.
good, Boner Yogurt. But we didn't clip that. We don't have it. Sorry, Boner Yogurt. Maybe in the future. Who's the worst in the paranormal? They are all quite remarkable. None of them have shit on PP when it comes to being the worst. He's really good at it. Signed the Night Pickle. Okay.
It's true.
So PP outshadows all this guy because he is.
And some of the footage is remarkable.
Yeah, he's so bad at it that he's...
I'm really good at it.
Yes, thank you, Night Pickle.
Dog, I also love OBDM.
There you go. Okay, a plug and a plug and a plug. Who's the worst in the paranormal? I'm going to Peter Popoff if this quarantine doesn't end soon. I'm running low on rods, and I'm really hungry. Signed, Rod Lover 69, the bonus winner from last week. Oh, he's going to Peter Popoff this quarantine because he's trying to...
You don't suppose if one were to gather enough rods, one could get a small meal?
Yes.
And it's just a small meal, and he can't even get the guy together. Stay safe, Rod Lover 69. Love you. Who's the worst in the paranormal? Who? I think Zach Baggins saw a ghost or shit or something. Why would he lie about that? Signed, the Bookish Man. Of course. He saw, well, a ghost or maybe...
We saw some Martian or shit or something.
Yeah,
classic.
I haven't heard that one in a while. And of course...
Oh, why would I lie about something like that?
God, I
we
missed
know
that.
you wouldn't, Bookish Man. We know you wouldn't. Who's the worst in the paranormal? Randy is a zealot and should be in the SOS Hall of Fame. Signed to unsubscribe. Oh, sorry.
You know, I know what they're talking about.
Disagree.
I know what they're talking about, but I still also disagree.
Look, is no one supposed to be critical? What are we doing here? We believe a lot. Just whatever. You're not hearing this. You're unsubscribed. So goodbye.
Goodbye.
Please
Who's the
subscribe.
worst in the paranormal? My poop is paranormal. Been shooting blanks for a week. Signed, a Yankee cock lover. Yankee boy cock lover? Oh my God.
Whoa.
All right, but you do get this.
Hey, Yankee boys, do you need some help? I'll give you a hand. I can fix your craft.
All right. Thank you, Yankee boy cock lover. Who's the worst in the paranormal? Charles Gould. Frowny face. Oh, no, he's not.
No, that's pretty funny,
Frowny
though.
face. All right. Who's the worst in the paranormal? That bitch Carol Baskin. Signed, Stabby McMurder bitches. Jesus.
Oh
what
my
kind
God.
of... We get some... Yeah,
I'm not going to
we get
give that
some,
any credence.
Oh, boy.
We're getting those Serial Spirits listeners over here now.
Oh, are we? Is that what this is? Who's
No,
the
just
worst
everyone's
in the
watching
paranormal? Who's the worst in the paranormal? Stina Bobina. Did you know a man died in prison for discussing this? Thank you. Thank you for the levity. Signed, Wombat Preservation.
I love it.
Look, Stina Bobina, she's trying to stake the secret space drama.
We do the news and we make it entertaining.
But again, that was not Stina Bobina, just so you guys know.
Of course it is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
we're just revising history now.
But...
Do you know a man died in prison for discussing this?
Oh boy, PB Warren getting so much love on this, and I want to ask. I'm just gonna say it now. If you guys want us to do like an SOS update on all these guys, we've been wanting to do it. PB Warren needs some more attention. We got to see what he's up to. Let's move on. Thank you, Wombat Preservation.
He needs his own episode, I think. Maybe something.
We got to
He
get
would
on
love
there.
that.
Yes.
Anyway.
Yeah, but I will say spoilers. Art Bell's death day is coming up. We're gonna do Art Bell next week. Yes, it is. It's so sad to think about, but during all this,
All right, possible.
Who's the worst in the paranormal? Popoff cured my basement crabs, so that boy gets a pass. Signed STD Man. Oh, okay. Thank you, STD Man. You might be in the lead.
Oh my god, I love
Who's
that.
the worst?
STD Man.
Yeah.
Thank you. They
Worst
were cured.
superhero ever.
Popoff cured it. Who's the worst in the paranormal? My pants are filled with channelers. Signed Pants Filler. Thank you, Pants Filler. That's great. Thanks.
Be throwing up and filling my pants.
What more do you need to say? Who's the worst in the paranormal? Psychics blowing gets me paranormally sticky. Signed PP Warren. Okay, psychic blowing gets me paranormally sticky.
That's pretty good.
I didn't. I get this. Does he rub something? What's happening here?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, he rubs
you know what? We
something,
might
right.
as well. We might as well give it to him.
You turn this knob with one hand as you stroke the stick plate with the other, and when you feel that stick, you leave that knob in the position it was in.
So confident. The ever-confident Joshua P. Warren. Thank you, P.P. Warren. Who's the worst in the paranormal? That fucking bitch, Carol Baskin. That's who. Signed Reptilian Mailman. Everyone's piling on Carol Baskin.
That
Wow.
bitch. That bitch.
It's almost like
Baskin.
everyone's
Thank you,
watching
Reptilian
Tiger
Mailman.
King. It's weird.
Who's the worst in the paranormal? Skeletor, Master of the Universe. Signed, Corrupted Mask. I'm just reading them in all caps as they come in, but of course, the worst in the paranormal is
Skeletor, the master of the universe.
Fantastic.
Thank you, Corrupted Mask, for chiming in. Who's the worst in the paranormal? If Debunker Santa thinks he's going to come at the conspiracy papa, he can get a seal flipper slap. Signed, Jesse the Theory Ventura. I'm loving this new... Jesse has won as Jesse the Pants Ventura. He's won as Jesse the Booty Ventura. But this time,
Whoa. Hold on, he's just going to take me on like that?
That's it. That is your official theme clip. You don't need to put a clip because we got one for you. Great one, Jesse the Theory Ventura. Who's the worst in the paranormal? Rubbing heads greater than rubbing spoons. Rubbing heads while spooning is best, though. Signed, Arts Parts.
Arts Parts.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Rubbing heads while spooning is the best. I love it.
Yeah, next time you're with your girlfriend, start rubbing heads. Trust me on this.
That sounds kind of nice. Yeah.
All right.
Sounds
Thank
not
you,
bad.
Arts Parts. And the final poll result for tonight. Who's the worst in the paranormal? Bob Barker says, don't forget to spay and neuter your sham psychics. Signed, Blue Box UFO. Oh, that one's really, really good. So I'm just going to go over some before we finish here. Are they all full of beans? Is that understood? Signed Blackie Anunnaki. We got K Mill with, I find it easier to bend spoons with my hands. Boner Yogurt.
That is actually good. He deserves more credit for that.
That's a very good one.
That was really good.
Yeah. We had Boner Yogurt with, I can't think of the technical term. Oh, yeah, bullshit. We had the Night Pickle coming in with, they were all quite remarkable. None of them have shit on PP when it comes to being the worst. He's really good at it. We had Rod Lover 69. I'm going to Peter Popoff if this quarantine doesn't end soon. I'm running low on rods and I'm really hungry. We had the Bookish Man with, who? I think Zach Baggins saw a ghost or shit or something. Why would he lie about that? We had, Yankee Boy Cock Lover with my poop is paranormal. Been shooting blanks for a week. We had Stabby McMurder bitches with that. Okay, Carol Baskin. We had Wombat Preservation, Estina Bobina, and did you know man died in prison for discussing this? STD Man with Popoff cured my basement crab, so that boy gets a pass. Pants Filler. My pants are filled with channelers. PP Warren with blowing psychics gets me paranormally sticky. Reptilian Mailman with the Carol Baskin and Corrupted Mask with Skeletor. And Jesse the Theory Ventura, if the Bunker Santa thinks he's going to come at this conspiracy papa, he can get a seal flipper slap. So many great ones. Arts Parts, rubbing heads is greater than rubbing spoons. Rubbing heads while spooning is the best, though. And Blue Box UFO. Bob Barker says, don't forget to spay or neuter your sham psychic. So I'm going to leave it up to you. Jude Prestia, who is going to win this week's poll results?
Oh, God, I can't make this decision. Like, I wrote down Blackie Anunnaki, and then I wrote down someone else that I crossed.
It's got to be one. You got to pick one.
Man, Arts Parts. I mean,
who's it gonna be? Who's it gonna be?
STD Man.
Yes.
All right. Well, congratulations with Popoff cured my basement crab, so that boy gets a pass. STD Man, you just won this week's poll results.
All right, we've come to the end of the program, but before we go, Drea, Mora, do you have anything you want to say or plug?
Follow me on Twitter at UnbelieverDrea, and also our store is still a thing, and I think it's pretty safe to order from there. That's wait, which one are we on right now? Did we move over to? Yeah, we'll insert the plug there.
Sure. What about you, Jude? Anything to say or plug?
We're about to close on our house in about 2 weeks, and apparently because of COVID-19, they now need to like do a whole bunch of extra shit about checking up on like my employment and our funds and stuff. So, thoughts and prayers about me being employed and us being able to move into this house.
Okay, some house closing karma needed. And what about you,
Thank
Rob
you.
Okey?
No, just check out all my social medias at Rob Okey on Instagram. Check out at Okey Audio also for some production stuff. And check out the Patreon. There's going to be some new stuff. We just put the video that we recorded of last week's episode is on Patreon now. So if you want to go on there, you can watch it. And check it out.
All right, cool. And I'll just plug the Pentagram of New York City again. And that's it. The Unbelievers podcast hosts today were Drea, Mora, Jude, Prestia, and me, Rus Ryan. Our producer and soundboard engineer is Rob Okey. You can join our Patreon by going to patreon.com/UnbelieversPodcast. You can follow the show on Twitter at UnbelieversPod and Instagram at Unbelievers Podcast. Our Facebook group is the Unbelievable Podcast Network. Check out that merch store. It's probably there at cafepress.com/UnbelieversPodcast. And thank you so much to our patrons, Little BB, Dr. Ortega, Tyler Ventura, Adam Dvorak, Corrupted Mass, Michael Shields, Michael Phillips, Weary XL, Carol Valley, Manny MQ Ultra, CJP, Braden Hitt, Raymond Noel, Todd X, Christopher Panici, The Moon, The Judgy Moon, Mike Henry, Taylor Nelson, Bryce Cronenberg Jr., Dawn Bright, Shanna Ferrigno, Tom O'Connell, Mark Braun, Donna Vance, Jenna Stevens, Cat Chaos, and Jason Kelly, and Mike, Brian Ashton, Michael Armenta, Jackass. Our official composer and theme song creator is Unbeliever A.A. Rod, a.k.a. Aaron Shilb. Follow him on Instagram at the Aaron Shilb. Our official graphic designer and card maker who designed our logo is Raymond Roel. Check out his work at P Raven Creative on Twitter and Project Raven Creative on Instagram. Our official Unbelievers MUFON Inside Man is Chris De Moraes. Our official Unbeliever Peacefully Eating a Hamburger is Michelle Durham. Our official Ghost Hunter is Amelia Childs and Ghost Hunting in New England. Our official Senior European Correspondent is K Mill of I Don't Know Podcast. Our official Guardian of That Bench is that Kraken Stacker. Our official Alien Bopper is Nunchuck Bop. And this week's Unbeliever Focus is Chad Lindsay from Instagram, who heard me on the Knights of Vader podcast. I asked, what did he think about the show? But all he said was,
I knew you were a nerd.
All right. Good night. Throw me in the garbage.
Discontinue! Discontinue!